Welcome to Phillip Island, Victoria in Australia. What a setting we have for this great sporting contest, the Little Penguin Sea to Dune race. Nervous moments always as they gather on the beach, the tension mounting, and away they go. There's the defending champion, wearing his familiar navy blue and white, great waddling style. Another pre-race favourite though, losing touch with the pack. Maybe that's why. A few too many fish in the day's feeding. There's a familiar face, Skip McIntyre, 8 times a champion back in the 90s, a very successful coach now, keeping a keen eye on proceedings. This the leading group, 1 or 2 still able to put on a show for the camera, others just ploughing straight over it. Some resorting to shortcuts. Sad that cheating has crept into this beautiful sport. The judges will have a look at that. But up at the front, the pace is relentless, closing in on those sand dunes that will offer a bed for the night. The fatigue starting to tell. Who's got the finishing kick up on the outside? What a turn of pace from that one, whichever one it is. No answer from the rest, and he takes victory. What a win. There we are, into the Burrow, building an extension with his winnings, and back tomorrow to try and defend his title here on Phillip Island.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another night of live Penguin TV. My name is Jordan, I am your host tonight, and this evening what we are waiting for is we're waiting for the smallest species of penguin, and for example this little friendo that we have playing in the shallows just over here, who has arrived on the early train this evening. I think this little penguin has been hanging around the water's edge for a couple of minutes now, but it's still a little bit too bright, a little bit too light for it to feel like it's safe enough to cross that big, open, scary beach without getting swooped down on and eaten by a predatory bird that is flying around during the daylight hours. So it looks like that little guy is heading back, maybe out into the waves, into the cover of the ocean where they feel nice and safe out there, waiting for its other friends who will be out there preparing to make their way home to Phillip Island in Victoria, Australia. So, you're still hanging around. Are you just kind of sizing up where you want to come up? I think that's exactly what is going on with this little penguin. So tonight's stream, we are going to be talking all things penguin here with you tonight. The stream will last for about 25 to 30 minutes, depending on how many questions you guys have and how long I feel like talking for. And if you tune in night after night on Live Penguin TV, you'll know that I do like to talk and run my Penguin Live TVs slightly on the longer spectrum. So hope you're ready, hope you're nice and relaxed and warm in your homes wherever that may be, and you're ready to watch the smallest and, in our opinion, the cutest of the little penguin species to come home to Phillip Island. Now tonight I am also joined by Ranger Viv, who I haven't had the pleasure of doing the live stream with before. So Viv, come in, say hello, and let us know what you're going to be doing tonight.
Hi guys. Hope everyone's ready for us tonight. We're really happy to still be able to be running through Lockdown Penguin TV today. So I'm going to be looking at your questions mostly on Facebook tonight to relay them to Jordan, but I'm also going to look at your guesses. So you've already put through a bunch of guesses for what last night's numbers were, and we've had some pretty close guesses already. So get your last guesses in before we announce that one. And then we'll have some guesses for the first couple of rafts and things too. Sounds good?
Sounds like a great plan.
Yeah.
Thanks, Viv. So if this is your first time tuning in to Live Penguin TV, every single night we are actually counting penguins. So every single penguin that crosses the beach is being counted night after night. And if you're a regular Wattle watcher or a regular viewer of Live Penguin TV, you're still hanging out in the shallows there somewhere. We as rangers and our Wattle watchers like to guess how many penguins they thought came in the night before. So get your guesses in. Viv is scrolling through the comments, I can see right now, and she's writing down a few names and a few numbers so that she can give a shout out to who guessed the closest. And at the Penguin Parade, when we have a full team on here, there is a chocolate bar for the ranger who guesses the closest number who wins Penguin Lotto. So unfortunately tonight, because everyone has to stay at home, we don't have a full team here. So I don't believe Penguin Lotto is being played tonight. But if you would like to play with your friends and your family, if you're all watching together, we would love to hear who guesses the closest in your friend or family group as well. Now look at this little guy just patrolling the water's edge. It must be a very, very keen penguin to get home. And I don't blame it, because when they come home, they've got things to do and places to be, but because it is still fairly light outside, yeah, it's just a little bit too scary, and now I've lost sight of it, which is actually a good thing, because when penguins are out at sea, we actually don't really want to be able to see them. Gosh, I'm punny. If you've got any punny penguin jokes or anything about what we say, if you can punify or penguinify it, we would love to hear about it. I think I found you again. Because these are the smallest of the 18 species of penguins in the world, they're not very good at defending themselves against, predators that are bigger than them, even though they do have nice sharp bills, sharp beaks, and some lovely sharp little toenails which help them climb up the rocks. Oh, look, you can see his beautiful little reflection on the water. How cute, I've never noticed that before. Yes, so they do have very, very sharp claws and sharp beaks, so much so that a lot of our rangers who work with the penguins here and our researchers do have a few scars and things on them from their feisty little weapons on them, natural weapons. But the best form to stay protected out in the ocean is to blend in with the surface of the water, because these little penguins actually have blue feathers on their back. So you can imagine if they're floating at the surface of the water, kind of like what we saw this little penguin doing earlier, they do blend in, they camouflage really, really well. And so they're quite safe from predation out in the ocean. It's when they cross this open sandy beach that you can already see how visible this penguin is. So they have to be 100% sure that once the sun sets, all those predatory birds that are flying around during the day have gone to bed for the evening, and they can cross the beach and not get eaten. That is the goal of every little penguin you will see here tonight. And before I talk too much about what we're waiting for and also what we're seeing tonight, Viv, do we have many close guesses for our Penguin Lotto last night?
Oh, absolutely. Everyone's gotten way too good at this now. I think we've been doing it for too long. We might have to up our game a little bit. Our closest tonight was Jan with 899 penguins.
Oh, that's so close.
It's really close.
Hang on, drum roll.
We had 908 penguins last night.
908
Yeah.
penguins. So was it Jan?
Jan, yeah.
Jan, well done. You're an expert penguin counter. We'll have to get you here with us at the Penguin Parade ASAP. I hope you're looking for a new job. This little penguin is so keen to cross the beach, although you can see, I just wanted to zoom out to see if I could see any other penguins, if while we were zoomed in on this one, there were any little feathered friends kind of sneaking up the beach either side. I just want to have a quick zoom out. Can't see anything just yet. Ranger T is our penguin counter tonight, and she's being assisted by John. So hopefully, if they're not too busy, they will be providing us with some of the penguin numbers of the groups that are crossing the beach, so that everyone can have a little bit of a guessing game. And I think, is our little friend still there? I kind of lost sight of it after. Oh, yep, there we go. Was it?
No, he's on the other side of the rocks, unless there's another one joined him. He's on the left.
Oh no, hang on. Is that one there? Hang on, we're zooming in. Oh, you're hiding.
I've lost the one I thought I saw.
Look, there potentially could have been another one. So if you see any rogue penguins around the place, or if you see any penguin rafts out in the ocean, so a group of penguins out at sea is a raft, let us know and we'll see if we can zoom in on them. But you can see that this penguin that's hanging out right now is quite nervous. It's really kind of huddled low to the ground. It's looking around because when they cross the beach each night, there's safety in numbers. They want to have lots of friends with them so that if there is that potential aerial predator around, if there's a lot of them, you have the lower chance of getting picked up by any of those predatory birds. So at the moment, I reckon what this penguin, you can see it's turned back to the ocean now. They blend in very, very well against those dark rocks. So you can see, having a little bit of a preen, just make yourself look beautiful before your friends come home. When they do hang out on the beach, they do like to hang out in these darker rocks because you can see they're a little bit harder to spot, and I'm having a little bit of trouble focusing everybody, I'm sorry. It's a lot easier when you can see their little white bellies, but it was, you're not too stressed at all now that you're in those rocks. It's probably listening out for some other penguins out in the ocean, making a very special penguin sound, and you've probably seen it already in the comments so far, but penguins, when they're out in the ocean and they're talking to each other, at the end of the day, they make a sound called a huck, which sounds like huck, 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 huck. Very good. Is it dark enough? Is there anyone else out there? Can we cross the beach yet? Is it safe? What do we think? So the penguins are kind of coordinating themselves out in the ocean at this time of night so that when they are ready to cross the beach, once they feel like it's safe, they can do it in one nice uniformed group. So because it is still a little bit light here on Phillip Island at the moment, this little penguin is understandably a little bit nervous about crossing the beach all by itself. So I don't think it's going anywhere just yet. So what I might do is expand our zoom a little bit and have a little bit of a look out in the ocean and see if we can see any rafts or any groups of penguins out in the water. Now, for you guys at home who might be watching on a beautiful big screen, if you see something, please let us know because our screen is a little bit smaller. But what we're looking for is kind of like a dark shadow, would you say, Viv, in the water?
Definitely.
Or like kind of a dark line, and that's all the penguins swimming in together, probably going, what was that again? That's the one. So I can't see anything just yet, and I think Viv is having a look for me as well, but it can be a little bit harder to spot those rafts out in the ocean. Now, you might have just seen a little bit of a flash in the distance where we were looking just now, and that is the beacon on top of Cape Woolamai. Oh, there it is again. And it is the tallest point here on Phillip Island. And it's our little kind of residential mountain, which isn't very tall at all, but Phillip Island is very flat. And that beacon shows where the landmass is at Cape Woolamai, and for any ships going by, it knows that there's land not too far away so they don't crash into the granite rocks at Cape Woolamai. So I'm oh my gosh, hang on a second. Look what I've seen. The raft definitely snuck up on us. Look at all these guys. And what did we tell you? The penguins would have been out there going, huck, huck, huck. And that other penguin, other penguin, I would say, has probably joined this big waddle of penguins. So we like to call a group of penguins on land a waddle of penguins. And they are definitely looking like they are getting ready to make their way home. You can see how they're all nice and clumped together. Again, they kind of look like one big animal rather than lots of little ones. So there's safety in numbers on what looks like they are starting to march along the beach. And that is a pretty darn big group. A waddle of penguins for poor Ranger T and John to count tonight. What do you reckon, Viv? I would say 162? What's your guess?
Oh, I reckon it might be 140-ish.
Okay, so we're both kind of close. We'd love to hear in the comments how many penguins you think are in this group. And now that they're spreading out a little bit, it does get a little bit easier to count. So if we're not right on the money, please don't judge us. But every single night when we're counting these penguins, it is an educated kind of guesstimate, because with this group, with this waddle, there are so many penguins and you don't have enough fingers and toes to be able to count them. So it's all done through eyesight. So we might accidentally miss a couple of penguins or count a few extra, but as long as we get the general number, that helps us monitor how many penguins are coming home each night, if it fluctuates at different times of year, if it's consistent with previous years, and it tells us a lot about what's going on out in the ocean and the health of the colony. So I think I just heard Viv on the radio. I think she received a call for how many penguins were in this group, but do we have many guesses before we go to that? Oh my gosh, look at all of them. They are just tumbling on through. They are not stopping. We still have our lovely little swimming pool here. So they definitely get to have a little bit of a swim on the way home. And now that they're on land, I'm even wondering, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe there was even more penguins now, Viv. They're everywhere. Well, okay, what are our guesses?
We've had a lot of really close guesses. So we've had Ranger Danny come in with 125. Sorry, Danny, you're off.
Wrong, Danny.
But we've had 182, 188, 189. I believe I saw 190, 195. And it was 195. So
Hey!
We had some really, really close guesses.
Amazing work, everybody. Again, we've got some expert penguin counters. Ranger Danny, you're going to have to... what's going on? What's going on? I bet there's a goose. Oh, there's a goose. Oh, no. Goosey McGooseface is back again. Look at all the penguins darting into that bower spinach. Oh my goodness, there is drama back here on Live Penguin TV. How lucky are we? Now, again, if this is your first time watching Live Penguin TV, you are probably thinking, oh my goodness, that terrible bully of a goose. I'm just going to zoom in on you here. So this over here is a Cape Barren goose. So it's a type of goose species that we have here on Phillip Island. They are herbivores, so they only eat grass, like you can see it just bobbing around, berries, leaves, things like that. But they're very territorial, and a lot of them have eggs, and they have little goslings around at the moment. And they are very, very protective. Yeah, we're talking about you. They're very protective parents. So I would say there's been one goose or a couple of geese hanging around a certain spot for the last couple of nights, and I reckon that might be it. If you let us know some of your favorite names for our potential goose in the comments. Oh, it looks like the penguins have recovered and they're starting to head back up the hill. Oh, and I'm going to flick over to the Penguin Highway now because it looks like we have a few of them making their way very quickly. I think this is probably a little bit quicker maybe than what they normally cross. They are probably just trying to get away from that cheeky goose. And hang on, I can go real quickly to this position and we can see them heading back up the highway. So they, even though the goose isn't actually going to harm them in any way, it's, anything that's bigger than a penguin is definitely going to scare them. And I don't blame these poor little penguins either. But this is what we call the Penguin Highway or the Penguin Expressway. Penguins, just like us, they usually have their own address and they're always heading back to the same burrow every night. Sometimes, like us, they do move houses, and if there's divorces and things like that, sometimes they might move burrows as well. Let's maybe jump back to our main camera. But they'll typically head back to the similar area to where their parents raised them, which is lovely. So they're familiar with that area. And at the Penguin Highway, it's a nice kind of clear open track that the penguins get to make their way home. And can we see any more penguins at the water's edge? I think I can see one or two little white bellies. Oh, in fact, I think I just saw a couple maybe rafting up just kind of in the middle or to the right of the screen. Oh, yep, there they are. Welcome home, everybody. I wonder if this little crew of penguins here are going to wait for some more reinforcements or if they're going to brave the open sandy beach all by themselves. But as you can see, crossing the beach at the end of the day is the scariest time of day for these little penguins. They know that as soon as they get on land, they're safe. They can duck under a boardwalk, under a tree, into their burrows where they're nice and safe. But on the open sandy beach, there is nowhere to run or nowhere to hide. So they want to get home nice and quickly for sure. Now, a little bit earlier, Viv was saying that she is going to be monitoring the Facebook comments for any questions that our water watchers out there might want to know. So how about we flick to a question now, Viv, and we'll please make sure it's not too hard for me and I'll do my best to answer it.
Oh, you don't want it to be hard. That's no fun. All right, so who would win in a fight? A goose or a very hungry penguin chick?
Ooh. Am I answering that or are we just going to ponder the question?
Oh, we can ponder. We've had a few guesses in the chat.
Okay,
what they would think.
Okay, let's get the Water Watchers' opinions and then I'll give mine. How's that sound? And maybe that can inform my decision.
Well, we've had a couple of people think the chicks would win, and then...
Oh, sorry, is it one chick or is it a few chicks?
Well, let's go with two, because there'd be at least two, right?
Of course, yeah, fair enough.
And we've had some others say, oh, well, the geese in the UK are really mean, so I'm going to go for the geese.
Yeah?
Yeah, so what do you think?
All right, well, if, for example, there were penguin chicks hanging around with our geese now, I would definitely say the goose would win, just because the geese are, they're feeling quite defensive and territorial because they're looking after their nests, their eggs, and their goslings. But usually by December, January, which is the height of the breeding season when we get most of the little penguin chicks here at the Penguin Parade, the geese have kind of, I don't know if you feel the same, they've kind of calmed down a little bit.
Oh, they definitely calmed down.
They mellow at that stage. So I wonder, I don't think I've ever really seen it. I mean, that said, chicks will go up to anything that moves and just harass them for food. They come up to our boots sometimes if we're out in the colony, which is incredibly cute.
I've watched them beg bandicoots for food before.
Bandicoots?
Yeah.
Okay, yep, there we go. So I would say if it's in at the end of the year, I reckon the chicks would probably out annoy the geese, and the geese would probably try and run away. Oh, it looks like we've got a few more friends coming along soon. Now, because the action has started already, I have forgotten to do my acknowledgement of country so far, so I do apologise for that. But of course, I want to acknowledge the Bunurong, who are the traditional custodians of the land here on Phillip Island on Milau. I want to pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and thank them for their care and ongoing connection and care of country over so many thousands of years, which is one of the reasons why we have such a large, healthy penguin population here, because of the sustainable practices and management of this land due to the Bunurong over so many thousands of years. So thank you so much to any First Nations people who might be joining here, and I would love to hear in the comments if you know of the traditional custodians or the name of the traditional lands on which you're joining us from today as well. And of course, at the moment, you can't come and visit us, or it looks like these guys are starting to head across the beach. They're making their dangerous dash. They've got a few more friends. Excellent. Good work, little pengs. Of course, we can't have you here with us at the moment. The Penguin Parade is closed for the next week, but we're really looking forward to having you back when it is safe to do so. We here at the Phillip Island Nature Parks, we're a non-for-profit, visitor-funded organisation, which means we get our money to protect penguins and their beautiful little neighbours here on Phillip Island through people coming to the Penguin Parade, Koala Conservation Reserve, Churchill Island Heritage Farm, and the Nobbies. It all goes back into our conservation, education and research. So the best way that you can help, or one of the best ways that you can help protect penguins and all of our wildlife here on Phillip Island, is to actually come and visit us when it is safe to do so. But if you're interstate or if you're overseas at the moment and you would like to do something to help, remember you can donate to the Penguin Foundation, and the link is in the description of this video as well. Now, I've been talking for a whopping 21 minutes so far, and it feels like it's been about 2 minutes, but I wanted to give you a little bit more Viv tonight, and Viv has a wealth of knowledge. She has been working at the Penguin Parade for quite a long time, and she has a lot of experience working with penguins out in the field and doing a whole bunch of cool volunteering projects. So I thought I might give up my host seat and get Viv to jump in front of the camera and talk to us a little bit about some of the volunteering work that she's done in the past, and maybe about some of the ways that, if you're keen to volunteer with us here at Phillip Island Nature Parks, some ideas for you as well. So take it away, Viv.
Jordan's making things up. She's just really sick of talking to you guys. No.
Oh, rubbish! No! Get away!
I mean, no. So I started volunteering with nature parks probably 5 or 6 years ago, and so much has changed since then. I was doing my uni degree. Oh, that's a lot of penguins. Probably similar to what Jordan had done, environmental science at Deakin, and I was obsessed with penguins. I actually got married at the Nobbies. Did you know that?
I did. I've seen your beautiful wedding photos.
Yeah, just ridiculously obsessed. And so I did part of the penguin study group when that was around. Oh, I love the pond. And so what I was doing, this was before the cool technology that Jordan has been able to use, the cool magic wand that you just wave over the boxes that will show us the microchip. I had to do it the hard way. And so
what's the hard way, Viv?
The hard way meant lots of poo. I know you guys love poo. Lots of mud, especially during the breeding season. Basically what we do is we'd have to get on the ground and put our arms all the way in until we grab a penguin, and then we would gently pull the penguin out because we didn't have the technology to be able to do it any differently. So we did that. We'd weigh the penguin, check the microchip, check for chicks, and do our usual health checks that I know most of you guys have been made well aware of. But what I think is really exciting about this is that we don't do it anymore, that technology has evolved, and instead of handling every single penguin every 2 weeks or 4 weeks, depending on where they're living, we now only handle them if they're not microchipped or if they've got chicks and we need to have a look at them. I think it really goes to show our commitment to protecting these penguins, that we don't want to do too much handling of them. So yeah, now we use our little microchip wand, and we get their weights off our awesome little penguin weigh bridge. Unfortunately, Penguin Study Group doesn't go around anymore, so I don't get to hang around with penguins too often. Let's pop on the Penguin Highway. But it was so much fun when I did. I don't know about you, but when I was doing Penguin Study Group, we always wore gloves that ended about here, and without fail, the penguins would bite you just below the gloves on the really soft, skinny, thin part of your arms that hurt so much more than anything else could have hurt. I know that when I got back from maternity leave, I was like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I remember how to handle a penguin. It's not that hard. I got a little bit too comfortable, and I had the penguin against my chest while I was grabbing a bag to put it in. And, well, I think you've already been told multiple times why it's really important to wear a padded bra. No, it was really, really uncomfortable. I'll just go with that, and especially uncomfortable if you're breastfeeding. But yeah, no, I had a lot of fun with that. And recently we've just started a new role with penguin volunteering, where we have penguins helping us out around the parade as well. So not only do we have our sorry, I'm just figuring out how this camera works. Let's have a look at these guys here. I think I've got it on that one.
Yeah, cool.
Where we have some volunteers do a bit of visitor experience stuff, and they hang around with us at the parade chatting to guests, but then they get to come in the skybox and help us count, which is so helpful. It means we don't have to go back and forth looking at all the rows, so we get a lot of help from volunteers there, which is really fun. And we know a lot of you guys are really committed, so if you're interested in volunteering, it's well worth having a look on our website at volunteering and see what opportunities are available for that as well. Because maybe, since you're all so good at guessing and counting our penguins, maybe you can join us and help us count as well.
You very much I'm just going to say, Viv, there's a lot of people on here that are super impressed at how pooey and how dirty that you got.
Yes. Oh, so pooey and so dirty. You just cannot win when it comes to penguins. And chick season was the worst. Chick and molting season, because they're not going out and pooing in the water all the time, they are pooing outside of their door. Like every time, like if you walk through the parade during breeding season, you're like, yep, that burrow has a penguin, that burrow has a penguin, that one has a penguin, just based on the sheer amount of poo on the doorstep. And you had to put your arm all through that, and then also get pooed on by all of the penguins, and bitten, and it was a lot of messy, a lot of fun. But right now for volunteering, I mostly work with bandicoots. I am bandicoot handle trained or training, and I get to do the health checks and help monitor their populations, which is great. I was really thrilled. I started working here right around the same time that we released the Bandicoots to the Summerlands, just where the penguins are living. So I got to be involved in that program. And I'm now, look at you guys run, really, really excited for our next program. So because we've had some real success with the Bandicoots now that the foxes are gone, we're looking at reintroducing the Bushstone Curlew. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that on our Facebook page, but the Bushstone Curlew are an interesting bird. I've volunteered with them at other places, and they're very, very easily camouflaged. They're all legs, and they make a really interesting sound, and I haven't made this sound. I'm not sure how good my impression is. They go, woo, woo, and so you can hear them from miles away as they're just yelling around, and hopefully one day in a few years, well, I don't know how many years it'll take, but one day you'll start hearing all these birds yelling at each other around the parade, around the island more so than the parade. Come on.
Look at them all.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, I highly recommend having a look at our Facebook page and having a look at the curlews. The plan is we've got two of them, two young girls that we've got, and we're introducing them to island life, and hopefully at some point we'll have them visible to guests. So when you come join us at the island, you get to have a look at our beautiful Bushstone Curlews, with the hope to release some at some point in the future when we get a chance to do that. Jordan, you want it back?
Sure, why not? Although, I've been reading the comments and everyone wants you to make a comeback and sit in this chair more often. Penny Boberman was saying, Viv is awesome. Please come up and join the host team. And yeah, we've got lots of people who thoroughly enjoyed your stories. So thank you so much for that, Viv. Viv, if you may remember from a little while ago, back last year, there was people in Phillip Island Nature Parks was in the comments answering some of your question. Viv was a lot of them giving you some of those wonderful answers and talking to you guys in the comments, because Viv lives in Metro Melbourne and she couldn't be down here on the ground with us here at Live Penguin TV. So it was her job to answer your questions night after night after night. So she's a huge wealth of knowledge, and you didn't even break a sweat, Viv. I'm super impressed.
It's good at faking it, no.
It is a little bit daunting being in this chair for the first time, but yeah, in the comments, I can see everyone is sending their love to Viv. Let us know how much you loved her, because we absolutely love her too. Alrighty, so I think by now, well, I think we're meant to have technically about 20 minutes of penguin time, but I think there's been about 25 so far. We've been talking for 30 minutes. How about we go for maybe another 5 or so minutes?
Yeah.
Happy with that? Should it be a Jordan 5 minutes or an actual 5 minutes?
Or
we'll see.
Let the penguins decide.
Oh my gosh, if we let the penguins decide, we'll be here all night. I remember seeing some of the comments the other night, and you said, just leave the live stream running and just go home. I kind of like that idea, but again, the lights will be going off semi-shortly, so you won't be able to see anything, maybe just the kind of odd flash of a white belly as a penguin goes directly past the camera. So yeah, I hope you've all been having fun on Live Penguin TV, and actually on that note, I have a little bit of a surprise or some good news for you. So we were actually meant to be finishing up Live Penguin TV, this series of Live Penguin TV, on Sunday, but because us Victorians have to stay at home until I think it's Thursday, guess who's going to continue the live stream? We are going to be here every single night until Friday. So book it in your calendar. Make sure you don't have anything too important going on from 6 till 6:30, or in my case, a little bit after 6:30, because we will be here night after night, bringing the penguins into your homes, works, offices, wherever you may be, and hopefully bring a smile to your face in these kind of tough times sometimes. Now, what are these penguins doing right now? They are waddling back. I hope everyone is very happy that we get more penguins in our lives, because surely that's something that we all need. We've been classified as essential, and so I absolutely love that. Now, Viv, before we wrap up too much more, should we maybe have another 1 or 2 questions? Because I know we have both been talking a fair bit tonight, and I want to make sure we answer our... Oh, there's another waddle of penguins crossing the beach. Yeah, let's go for another question or 2 before we sign off for the night.
All right, let's go an easy one. So,
Thank you.
mean, I guess easy-ish. It's got lots of different answers, I guess. How far from the shore do they go feeding?
Look, great question. Every penguin is different. So the penguins that we're watching coming home tonight, they could have been out in the ocean. They could have gone out this morning and they could have come home tonight, or they could have been out in the ocean for a few days or a few weeks. Now, we have had a member of our colony here on Phillip Island be recorded nearly at the Victorian South Australian border. And for those of you who aren't super great with Australian geography, that's a couple of 100 kilometres away easy. And if they're out for 4 or 5 weeks, that's kind of the further the penguins get to go. And the penguins are pescatarian, they only eat seafood, so when they're out in the ocean, they can gorge themselves, they can have feasts every single day, because it's when they come home, like these ones are doing right now, that they're kind of fasting or they're on a diet because they don't eat anything while they're on land. So a shorter amount of time that they're out in the ocean means they're not going quite as far out to sea, but it just all depends on where the food is. So sometimes the food is nice and close. I believe it might have been it was definitely last year. There were quite a few feeding hotspots off Cape Woolamai, and if you were watching at the start of the live stream tonight, you might have remembered me pointing out the beacon on top of Cape Woolamai, that flashing light. There's quite often some feeding activity for penguins, seals, whales and dolphins off Cape Woolamai. But there's also another kind of feeding hotspot south of the wind farms in Montague, or the Montague desalination plant. Lots of big bait balls and things that is a perfect spot for these little penguins. So that's not too far away, and penguins can swim up to about 100 kilometres in a day, but within that 100 kilometres, that includes getting to the place where they need to find food and diving hundreds or sometimes up to 2,000 times a day as well. So more diving means less kind of distance traveled, so it just all depends on where the food is. They might travel a really long time or a really long way to be able to find their food out in the ocean, but they might be out there for a while getting their fill. And they can sleep, they can rest, they can keep warm out in the ocean. They don't mind this cold weather we've been having. It's all the same to them. It's more the hot weather that they don't like quite so much. Oh, and it looks like, is that our cheeky goose friend? Oh no, that's a rabbit, never mind. That's probably the worst misidentification that we've ever had. That's embarrassing, I'm sorry. It's getting a bit dark and blurry out there, so I'm going to use...
yeah, sure.
Oh, who's inviting her back? So I hope that answers your question. Do we have any other juicy ones before we sign off for the night?
Well, suddenly everyone's really keen for us to stay in lockdown, so...
Don't say that!
No, I've had Jay ask if we could have a hint for any upcoming podcast episodes.
Ooh, I can just see, can't really see any penguins. Maybe there's one crossing the beach all by itself over there. I did just see, some on the highway. Oh, we've got one little friend on the highway who's just having a little bit of a look around, and there's someone up there in the background. So if you're unaware, we do have a podcast series out called Nature Unfiltered, and if you want to learn more about penguins, koalas, bandicoots and anything like that, if you just search Nature Unfiltered wherever you get your podcasts, you can also check Phillip Island Nature Park's Facebook or Instagram website, and that will take you to where you can listen to our podcast. But we talk about lots of different topics. Of course, here on Live Penguin TV, we're mainly talking about the penguins, but we wanted to... where are you going? You're going to look at yourself. Oh, is that your beautiful boyfriend or girlfriend you can see in there? Or is that your enemy? I wonder what that penguin's thinking. So this is actually a viewing platform where you can see the penguins through this glass, and sometimes they stop and have a little bit of a look at themselves. I this one's doing right now. So yeah, I believe we've still got 4 more podcast episodes to come out over the next couple of months, so stay tuned for that. But in the comments, we would absolutely love to know what it is that you'd like to hear more about that we haven't spoken about at length on Live Penguin TV. So there's 10 episodes in the series so far, and I'm going to keep a secret what the topics are. But in the comments, let us know what you would love to hear about, and if it's popular enough, if you guys are super keen, we might be lucky enough to do another season, which of course we would love to do, but you'll be able to listen to myself, Sky and Megan talk all things Phillip Island Nature Park. So make sure you jump on Nature Unfiltered. If there's more you would like to hear about what we do here to protect nature for wildlife. Do we have many suggestions or anything, Viv? Or is everyone just excited that there's another media platform they can listen to us talk to?
I don't have any suggestions yet, but I wanted to say that Jessica also thought it was a goose. So you're not alone, okay?
Thank you, Jessica. You saved my face. I thought I had egg on my face, but definitely not. It was just a rabbit on my face.
What about a Shearwater episode?
Oh yeah, that would definitely be a very good episode that we should definitely think about doing. Very good, because short-tailed shearwaters are very, very interesting birds. That penguin is just obsessed with its reflection. Or are you going to join this little group that's coming up the highway now? So if you're not sure if you're not sure what a short-tailed shearwater is, it's a migratory seabird that spends about 6 months of their life here on Phillip Island, where they come to breed, and they spend the other half of the year up in the Aleutian Islands off the coast of Alaska. So they're summer birds. They chase the perpetual good weather, and I do not blame them. They're really, really cool, interesting birds. So we do have something called Nature Notes online through Phillip Island Nature Parks. It's like a little fact sheet about short-tailed shearwaters, eastern bar bandicoots, and lots of other different animals that we have here on Phillip Island. So maybe stay tuned, and there's a potential that you might hear a little bit more about our short-tailed shearwaters. Any other suggestions, or is it time for us to clock off, Viv?
All right, I'll get a few more suggestions. So we've got people keen to hear about the Cape Barren geese.
Oh, yeah.
To learn more about all the different things our research team does and all the projects we've got.
Very good.
History of the parade and conservation.
I hope you're noting these things down, because I can't possibly remember them all.
Yes, definitely. Definitely noting things down. What are you talking about?
Of course. I can just see Viv furiously scribbling on a piece of paper now. That's okay. I always go through the comments at the end of the night to read them anyway. I love to hear what you guys think about these little penguins that we get to watch night after night. All right. So it sounds like we've got a few suggestions here. I love it. What I will say about the Cape Barren geese is that I've done a little bit of, Googling on the geese myself, and there's actually not a whole lot known about them. I don't think they've actually had that many, scientific studies done on them. So there's there's some data that suggests we don't actually know how old they get either. So I'd love to talk more about geese, but that would probably involve a fair bit more research on our end for sure. But make us work hard. We absolutely love it. All right, I think I'm now about 15 minutes. No, I'm going to say 10 minutes. I'm going to be kind to myself. About 10 minutes overtime. But if you've watched me on Live Penguin TV before, you will not be surprised in the slightest. So I think it might be time for us to shut down for the night and let these penguins have their peace, because I think the lights will be going off fairly shortly. So because our penguin counters don't need to count these little guys anymore. But I hope you've had a lovely time with Viv and myself tonight. Remember to tune in every night, or nearly every night, as much as you would like, to Live Penguin TV, because we are running it until next Friday, everybody. So you'll be able to get your penguin fix for another week, and hopefully after that point, fingers crossed, we'll be open and we can invite people back here to the Penguin Parade and actually talk to you in person. So I think that's about everything I have to say for the night, but stay tuned. Thanks for all of your love and enthusiasm in the comments. We absolutely love it. And I'm not going to tell you who's on tomorrow because I want to make sure it's a surprise for you, but I'll give you a hint. It's not me. I get the weekend off.
Oh, me too.
Oh, that's exciting. Not that we can go anywhere at the moment, but hey, it's forced rest at home, isn't it? All right, well, the last thing that we need to do before we head away is say goodbye in Penguin language, Viv. So come in, we'll say goodbye, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for joining, everyone. Take care.